Hey, good to see you. I've spent the last few years going deep on crypto platforms. I mean, actually testing them, putting real assets, seeing how they behave under pressure. And the segment I've been most focused on lately is token-backed lending, using crypto as collateral to borrow against it. I've had one particular platform in my rotation for about a few months now, and today I'm going to walk through it step by step. How the collateral mechanics work, what it actually means for liquidity, and how it stacks up from a safety standpoint compared to just doing things on a regular exchange. Alright, so quick note on the platform before I start clicking around. I've been using this regularly for months, and a few things stood out over that time. Transaction processing is fast, and it stays fast, not just on the first few runs. The documentation actually covers the things you need to know, which sounds basic, but isn't always the case. And every time I had a question, support came back with a direct answer. Put it this way, I've used a lot of platforms where at least one of those things falls apart. Here, none of them did. That's what kept it in my workflow. Okay, so here's the calculator where everything gets configured. First thing I'm doing is selecting the asset I want to put up as collateral. And one thing that's immediately worth mentioning, the selection of supported assets here is strong. We're talking the most traded, most established tokens out there. BTC, ETH, SOL, the ones with real market depth. From a practical standpoint, that means I have genuine options when I'm setting up a position. And if the market starts moving fast, I'm not stuck waiting on some illiquid asset to cooperate. So I'm setting the collateral amount now. Yeah, that number works for what I'm doing. Next up, I pick the asset I want to receive as the loan. I'm going with USDT here. Then I set the term, how long I actually need this loan to be active, and then LTV. So LTV is the one I'd slow down on if I were new to this. It's the ratio between what I'm borrowing and what I've put up as collateral. Each token has its own ceiling on how high that ratio can go, and if the collateral value tanks far enough, the position gets liquidated automatically. So when I'm dialing this number in, I'm factoring in how volatile this asset's been lately, what kind of margin I want to keep between my position and the liquidation threshold, and what the realistic worst case looks like in the current market. This one setting can make or break the whole thing if the market moves against you. Okay, all of that is correct. I press proceed and we're on the next step. So first thing I do here is save my contract ID. That string of characters is essentially how I get back into this contract later. I'll explain that in a bit. Now the platform is waiting on me to make the transaction. I could do this through Wallet Connect and have it handled automatically, but I want to show every individual step here, so I'm going in manually. Give me just a moment. Alright, my side of it is done. Now I'm just waiting on the network to confirm and the platform to pick up Ethereum. Okay, we're through. Loan approved. So right here, I've got the full breakdown of my smart contract, all the terms and numbers. Let me just verify everything once more. Yep, that all matches what I set up. Now I'm entering my receiving address. This is where the tokens are going to be sent. 1 second, please. Okay, submitted, and now I'm watching for the balance to update on my end. And there it is. Tokens landed, balance is updated, the platform has executed its side of the contract. Now, in this part is actually important. The screen I'm on is my dashboard for this loan. I access it using that contract ID I saved earlier. This is where I monitor the position, manage it, and make any adjustments based on what the market does and where I want to take things from here. So I want to take a minute now and actually explain the logic behind this whole model, because I think most people hear collateral lending and either glaze over or assume it's too complicated. It's not, and once the mechanics click, the advantages become pretty obvious. Here's the basic structure. I deposit tokens as collateral. They get locked into the contract on the platform, and I receive a loan in a different asset against that collateral. The original tokens stay put. I haven't sold anything, I haven't exited any position, I still have full exposure to wherever that asset goes. The contract holds everything together. The terms are locked in from the start, and as long as I manage LTV the way I should, my collateral doesn't get touched. Now think about what happens if I just go to an exchange instead. I sell, I get the current market price, and my position is gone. Whatever that asset does after that, nothing to do with me anymore. Here, I get the liquidity I need and the position stays open. That's the part that makes this model worth understanding. It's a fundamentally different way of accessing value without giving up what you hold. So, I've been through a lot of platforms over the years, and I'll be honest, I've landed on fake projects that were built well enough to look completely legitimate. Polished UI, working features, documentation that made sense, and then at some point, something didn't add up. That's happened more than once, and it's not because I wasn't paying attention. And here's the thing, the pace this space moves at makes it genuinely hard to keep up. New protocols, new standards, new platforms launching constantly. And somewhere in all of that noise, bad actors keep finding ways to blend in. They don't need to build something perfect, they just need it to look good long enough. And that window, that moment where something seems promising but I haven't dug into it properly yet, that's exactly where the risk lives. I've been in that window and walked away with less than I started with. So the way I vet things now is a lot more systematic than it used to be, and I'll walk through that in a second. So, few months on this platform, no errors, no unexpected behavior, nothing that made me stop and look twice. And that's what I'm actually measuring. Not one good experience, not a handful, but a consistent track record across different conditions, different assets, different market environments. That's the only version of this works that I trust.